How's it going, everybody? It's the Cajun Cardist, and this is my top 10 favorite decks for Magic. Alright, so this top 10 is going to be really based on my opinion. Some of you may agree with it, some of you may not. But I would really like to get y'all's feedback on which would be y'all's top 10 favorite cards. But I'll kick this off with number 10, which is the Knights by Illusionist, designed by Chris Ramsey and Daniel Madison. This is what the tuck case looks like. And one of my favorite things about this deck is the actual inside of the tuck case. Is you actually get the gold foil with the knight here and the checkerboard that goes all the way on the inside. And that is a ant. Don't know how that got in there. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with the deck. One thing I do like about this deck, and there's a few mark decks that are actually in this top 10, but I am not going to go over any of the marking system. That is not for me to do, but I will tell you that these are a mark deck, and the marking system is fairly easy to read. And if you have this deck and you don't know how to read the marking system, Chris Ramsey does have a tutorial on his channel that will actually teach you how to read the marking system on here. So everything is pretty standard with this deck, which is why I liked it the most, because most of my Magic decks, all the pips and faces are completely standard. I think there is a little bit of a color change as far as the actual court cards. As you can tell, they use like a deeper red and black on the red cards, and the pips have a black outline on them. And so, not going to go over too much because this is going to be a fairly long video. And I do know the kings are on here are all customized as far as the faces, which are all friends of Chris Ramsey's and Daniel Madison. Alright, so next is going to be number 9, which are the Keepers by Illusionist as well. These are actually printed on the E7 stock, I believe. So yeah, these are on a E7 stock. They do feel great. They're probably the closest that you can get to a crush stock, close to USPCC. As these are not marked at all, and you can tell these are pretty traditional. Nothing is customized about this deck. However, you do get duplicates. I'm not going to go over the gaff cards in these decks. That's also for you to find out. I'm pretty sure I can tell you, but I like for you to find out yourself. So that is number 9, and the tuck case is just pretty standard. These are literally the Cardamuni's version of USPCC's bicycle deck, in my opinion, as far as the design goes. However, even though bicycles are not crushed, these are, which these do kind of feel a little bit broken in whenever you first get them, so I don't really know how long these are going to last me. I don't use them that much because they are my number 9. So let's go on to number 8. Number 8 is the Hellions by Daniel Madison and Illusionist. Didn't realize how many Illusionist decks I have in here. These are not basic at all. These also are not marked, that I believe, and if they are, I would like to know, and I would like to try to figure it out. But this is the back design. It has a very thin border, and these are USPCC. And the back design, if I can get in focus here, they have the red dots on each corner of it, and they have a whole lot going on here. The reason why this isn't closer to the front is because it is a very busy back design, so people will suspect it to be some type of marked deck. But it is a completely customized deck. As you can tell, All the court cards are different. However, the ace of spades is pretty standard. The completely customized ace that's in here is actually, let's see if I can find it, the ace of diamonds, which has a devil on it, and it says don't play cards with the devil. And it does come with quite a few useful gaff cards in them, and this deck really doesn't go for much. I think that whenever I got them, they were actually on sale for like $7 or $5, something like that on Illusion. I think they go for around 10 right now. Definitely a deck worth picking up. There is also a red version of this deck that has the black tuck case. And one cool thing about it is you can actually, this is the top of the tuck case, but you flip it over and you can see here it says Hellions. Alrighty. Number 7 is the Run playing cards by Murphy's Magic. And this is probably my favorite playing cards by the Expert Playing Card Company. One thing I do like about Expert Playing Cards is the tuck cases. They are very durable and this cool little side flap. This is also not a marked deck. However, the back design is very simple. The borders are pretty thick, so if really very useful for doing Magic. This was actually one of my top decks for Magic at one point, but after discovering a lot of other decks, it kind of worked its way down. But this also has a lot of good gaff cards that come with the deck, which of course I'm not going to share with you. But this is the Ace of Spades on it, and I like how they have like this little waterfall looking thing underneath the pips. This card is a completely customized deck. Colors, everything, the design on the court cards are all completely customized, all the way down to, you know, the numbered. Like, for an example, the black cards have like this gold, I don't know if you can see it, but like this gold outline around the 2 on this one, and the red cards are actually like this orangish color. Yep. Another cool thing I do like about this deck, and I actually went over it whenever I did all of my whenever I showed all my whole collection, is the actual case that the tech case and cards come in, and I can literally fit every single deck. Like if I get the Hellions and put them in here, it actually fits them perfect. Alright, so that is my number 7. My number 6 is the Rounders by Daniel Madison, Theory 11. These are actually on a crush stock, and the reason why these are actually in front of the other ones is they're on a USPCC crush stock. It's a very simple back design, nothing special about this, and you can actually mark this deck on your own. I personally don't do it, but you can actually get like a black Sharpie and mark the cards on the back, and in a certain light you can actually read it on yourself. But there's really not much to show about this deck. The only thing customized about this deck is the court cards, which are all like friends of Daniel Madison's. You do get 2 identical jokers and a double backer with this deck. And let's see. Let's do this. And if I'm not mistaken, you do get some type of duplicate with the deck as well. But that's all I'm going to say about that deck. Not much to say about the tuck case. It is pretty mostly white, and on the back it just shows the back design. I do have the pink ones as well, which I'm really not a fan of pink. That's just me. Alright, and number 5 is the Shin-Lim Nox. Now, what makes me like the Shin-Lim Nox better than the other Noxes, they are on a different stock. These are actually crushed. They feel great. And here's the Ace of Spades on the deck. and the back design. And believe it or not, these decks are actually marked for suit. All the Nock decks are marked for suit. And really love this deck. And this one you do get a blank face with the bag. I'm not going to show you the actual gaff cards. You do get identical jokers with the deck. And you also get a duplicate card. Alright, so that is number 5. Let's go to number 4, which is the Monarchs. Now, the Monarchs are definitely one of my favorite decks from Theory 11 as well, and these are actually more than likely going to be in my top 10 all-time favorite decks because of the tuck case. Everything is embossed. Everything gold on this tuck case is embossed. And I'm pretty sure by now most of you know this because most of you probably own this deck. So I'm just like the other ones, I'm not going to go too much into detail. You really don't get any gaff cards or anything with this deck. You do get a couple of jokers, which I took the jokers out because I mainly use these cards to play like poker and stuff like that with. But I use this deck the most probably out of all my other decks, and this deck is still hanging in there. Like, it's not clumping up, it's not anything, like, and just doing magic and everything with this deck is just super easy. Just, oh my gosh. Alright, so that completes number 4, and now for my top 3 decks. Number 3 is the Red Roses by the Black Rose Playing Card Company, designed by Daniel Schneider. And I finally got his name right. I've been calling him Daniel Shake Snyder this whole time, and I apologize if you see this video. The tuck case is pretty basic. This is the back design that's on the cards, which is on the back of the tuck case, front of the tuck case actually. And this is the back of the tuck case. It has the 2 roses, which is actually on the jokers as well. And this deck is also pretty standard, other than the duplicates and identical jokers that you get. Let's see, and also you get a double backer and 2 identical jokers. And actually, my favorite thing about this deck really is the queens, because I don't know, like, the queens are actually pretty attractive. I'm not gonna lie. And this deck is also on a card stock by USPCC. This deck feels great. I can definitely see myself getting a brick or 2 of these in the future. And if you don't have this deck, you definitely need this deck, especially if you do Magic. Alrighty, so number 2, which is my all-time favorite reader deck, and the way and it's not even a marking system on, like, literally, if you learn the actual back design of it, and I'm not going to show you the actual back design, but I will show you the ones on the jokers, which are, even I can show you and you won't be able to find out the actual marking system because it's not on the back of the cards, on these cards. So it does come with 2 jokers. One of them does come with a 2 of Hearts reveal on him, and the other one does not. And as far as the cards themselves on the face, they are all standard. And a lot of people don't know this, but this deck is actually printed on Expert. They're designed or printed by the Expert Playing Card Company. And you can tell mainly because of the tuck case. It's like very thick cardboard that, you know, nothing's going to happen to your cards. But yep, this is the front design of the DMC Elite. This is all gold foiled in there, and the tuck case has like this rigid kind of feel to it. And on the back you have this circle with a green diamond in it. I don't know if you can see that. Alright, so that is my number two, my number one all-time favorite deck for Magic. And a lot of you probably going to agree with me on this one, is the Red Cherry Casinos. Now, I discovered this deck through one of Chris Rams's videos because this was his favorite deck at the time, I believe, whenever I first started watching his videos. And it's just a very simple back design. I love the way the light shines off that, dark burgundy color that's on it. It's just very shiny. I don't know if you can see that. But as far as the actual face cards and everything is completely standard. They're all USPCC standard. And now as far as the GAF cards, I will go over the GAF cards with you because they're really not top secret. You do get 2 identical Jokers, and on the Jokers it says compliments of the East Las Vegas, Nevada. And the Jokers say jackpot on them, which is pretty cool. It kind of changes, I guess, with the basic Joker. Alright, and here you get a double backer and a blank card. And as far as the way they handled, they are crushed and they feel great. However, when you do first get them, they're going to be really slippery, and I guess that's the actual finish that's on it. I believe they have like a magic finish on it. I think that's what it's called. I definitely know it's not air cushion, and if it is, please tell me so I know in the future whenever I do a full review on this deck. Alright, so that's about it for that top 10. And I just want to let y'all know, I want to thank y'all, whoever is following us, and I will be announcing the winner of the Marbles deck in about a week and a half whenever the actual run is over. And also around that time, I'm going to be doing another top 10 and update on my top 10 favorite cards for Carter Street, because I have discovered and bought newer cards since the last video, even though that was only like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But I have bought more cards, and I really hope to share them with y'all. And I hope y'all like and subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram too for future giveaways. Alright, thank y'all. Have a great day.